Smile. Remember, this is supposed to be the most beautiful day of your life. Los dientes. Muy bien. Entonces, su esposa. Señor, la cerveza aquí. Flores. Hi.
I didn't hear you buzz.
I made my way in. I brought you something. Here.
Oh. You really didn't have to deliver the check in person. It would have been just fine to drop it in the mail.
Nonsense. A student deserves her money. You'll need it. Besides, I wanted to bring you.
You brought me roses.
Smell 'em.
I think I should put them in the water.
find my new bride at 3015 Centennial Drive.
Excuse me, but who the hell are you? This is off limits to reporters.
Rachel Dwyer, DA's office. He struck again.
Okay, now what's all this about? I don't need any help from the DA's office. Thanks anyway.
I want in on this.
Well, you get your chance in court, all right?
Detective? Look, there's been 3 murders here already. 3 young women. We have to move fast or he's going to strike again.
Well, the DA's office sees hundreds of murder cases. Why have a special interest in this one?
I have my reasons. I want him caught.
Look, I'm on your side. I mean, I want to nail this bastard too, but this is a police matter, and I think that we can handle it.
Detective Krasko?
Yeah.
I have a file this thick on the man who's doing this. You can use my help. He moves from city to city, but every one of these girls were law students. Now, these girls were very bright and very good looking, so it means that our guy must be very charming to get in the front doors, which makes him even more dangerous.
You said these girls were good looking. Pretty enough to be models?
Sure, why?
This may be something, I don't know. But it seems Miss Jorgensen recently took on a part-time job to help with the rent.
Really, what kind of job?
Photographer's model. Interesting thing is that according to her friends, she's never modeled before.
Okay, well, let's look into this and see if there's any others.
You know, Peter, you don't make me feel very special. You know, it's kind of like the city bus. You get on, you ride for a while, then you transfer to another.
Only, you know that's not how I feel about you. Look, let's not ruin an otherwise perfect evening together, okay?
An evening? You call an hour and a half an evening?
Look, you're a scientist. Let me run this past you. Hypothesis. Professor pursues affair with graduate assistant. Conclusion. The university says, marvelous. That's exactly the kind of interaction we encourage between faculty and students. In fact, we are so impressed that we are going to give you tenure, Dr. Carmichael. I don't think so.
Why is everything about you?
About me? Oh, I would say that you're doing just fine by this arrangement.
Oh, I guess that is the best way to describe it. Well, maybe it's time our little secret got out, Oh, you know, it's been so long since I called your house, I almost forgot the number.
Hey! Look, Melanie, I care about you, all right? But right now, I really have to go.
Hello?
Hey, 17 new licenses issued for photography studios in the last 6 months. Checked out 8 today. Nothing remarkable.
And the others?
First up tomorrow.
Thanks, Leonard. Go to bed.
No, sweetheart, it's okay. It's okay, it's just me.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, I know I should have called. It's a research grant. I needed more data.
You're really obsessed with this research grant.
Look, Laura, I know I haven't really been there for you lately, but as soon as this thing is settled, I'm sure that the university is going to vote me full tenure, and then I can just ease up a little. Sweetheart. Yeah. Look, I think I need a drink, you know? Okay?
Okay, right here, just right here. You see him? Right up here, just up here. Very good. Now, okay, look right at me, nice and warm. Not that warm. That's a wrap for today.
By the way, if you have another job for me or anything, I could really use the money for school.
Do you mind posing in the nude? I freelance for some men's magazines. They're not hardcore or anything like that, but I'd shoot a test roll, and if you're selected, it could mean big bucks.
Okay.
You can put a robe on in my bedroom there and come out, and we'll just shoot the roll. It'd be great.
Okay.
Can I help you?
Detective Krasko, Boston PD. You operate a photography studio here?
Yes, I do. But I don't do cops. Somehow they just never turn out.
You recognize her?
No, should I?
She did some casual work as a model. She was murdered 3 nights ago. You ever use models?
Nope. Strictly weddings and kids.
I'm sorry to bother you.
My girlfriend.
Yeah.
See ya.
You want me over here?
Yes. Yes. We're ready. Very nice. Ready?
Carmichael, imagine bumping into you. What are the chances of that?
I'm Miss Sims.
And you must be Mrs. Dr. Carmichael. I've heard so much about you.
Very nice to meet you.
You too. Well, I'll be seeing you.
Honey, who's that?
An ex-student of mine. I was a little embarrassed there for a moment because I forgot her name. I'll see you later, sweetheart. Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right. I brought your money, like I said I would. May I come in? Wonderful place.
That's it, Rosebud. Party's over.
Nice.
You gotta be one stupid fuck, you know that, Lennox?
I have forgotten more than you'll ever know, Sergeant Crisco.
It's Krasko. Detective Krasko, do you puke face? Let's get one thing straight. You ain't leaving here until I hear what I want to hear.
Great. Try a little coercion when you don't have the evidence. You know, there are things called my rights. Why don't you try reading Matergio versus the State of New York as a refresher course, Leonard?
Is that a fact?
Detective, I need to see you outside.
Miss Rachel Dwyer, rising star of the DA's office.
How do you know my name? We're gonna have to get something on this guy quick. We don't have enough to hold him.
Well, what about the roses?
I just checked the report. There's only tap water on them.
I know this is our guy. I know it.
Well, he's one step ahead of us. David,
Rachel?
I wasn't expecting you.
Well, it's just your lucky day, I guess. I, on the other hand, was expecting you.
Well, we're almost finished.
No, actually, Rachel, you are finished right now. See, I was reading the lab report. It doesn't seem like there's any reason why you should be keeping my client here any longer. So I would recommend that you release him immediately.
David, look, I know as a public defender you have to represent him. We have serious concerns.
What you have, Rachel, is nothing.
For the moment.
I know the way.
Get a warrant.
Already on it.
You son of a bitch! How could you?
What are you talking about?
This, Peter, this! I found a copy of the application for the research grant, and I noticed there's a little change. It seems you've conveniently neglected to mention that I was the one that gathered all the quantitative data and came up with the final conclusions. What is this, your comprehensive plan to screw your graduate assistant at home and at work?
You stole that out of my briefcase.
Don't twist this around, Peter. I'm not the guilty party here.
Please keep your voice down, all right? Look, I was going to tell you.
When? After it was published?
It has to appear to be my work if I'm going to get tenure.
Oh, I'd say that's your problem.
I was hoping you'd be a little more understanding.
Oh, I think I understand. I understand that the great professor can't stand to share the spotlight. I want my work in there by tomorrow, or I'll advise the committee. I will tell them everything, Peter, and I do mean everything.
Dr. Carmichael, are you all right?
Yeah, no, everything's fine.
Anything?
Here, put these on. I found these in his car.
Yeah, what's the deal?
Matches the some that we found on some of the campus bulletin boards.
A little better. Wait a minute. First thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers?
Maybe he's got a point.
Very funny. Well, it seems our man Lennox has quite a history. He's been hospitalized on 3 occasions for psychiatric problems.
Great.
Unfortunately, it's not admissible. But I think he's unstable enough to where I can make him crack.
You think he's stupid enough to take the stand?
Oh, yeah. This guy craves attention. He wouldn't miss it for the world.
Oh, this is just great. It's a summons for jury duty. As if I didn't already have enough to do. I'll get it. Are you crazy? What are you doing here?
I looked at the file, Peter. You did not add my name. Did you think I was kidding?
No. All right? I know you're not kidding, but I need a little more time.
I have here your copy of a letter I composed. It's addressed to the Chancellor. I think you'll find it quite interesting. I'm on my way to deliver it now.
Listen, Melanie, I just found out that I have this jury selection thing tomorrow. Okay, I'll get out of it, and I'll make the changes. You'll see.
I'm not going to wait forever, Peter.
Have you had any prior knowledge of the defendant, Malcolm Lennox, until today?
No, ma'am.
Colonel Grimsley, I see here you received an honorable discharge from the Marine Corps.
Yes, ma'am. I'm retired on medical disability.
Prosecution accepts this juror.
As does the defense, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Grimsley. You can step down. Mr. Peter Carmichael, would you state your full name and address for the record?
Peter A. Carmichael, 442 College Street, Boston.
Mr. Carmichael, have you had any prior knowledge of the defendant, Malcolm Lennox, until today?
It's Doctor, and no, I have not.
Dr. Carmichael, have you seen or read anything about this case in the newspapers or on TV?
I'm ashamed to say I don't really have time to read the paper, likewise for television.
No need to be ashamed. Are you a medical doctor?
No, I'm a chemistry professor.
Are you personally acquainted with any of the attorneys present? Dr. Carmichael.
Yes. No, sir.
Have you or anyone in your family been the victim of a violent crime?
No.
Dr. Carmichael, do you consider yourself to be more analytical or emotional in nature?
I'm an analytical person. I weigh the odds. I can be emotional.
Defense accepts this juror.
Unchallenged by the prosecution.
I believe we have our 12 jurors and alternates. Are we ready to proceed to trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Rachel, what a pleasant surprise.
Hi.
So, you're up against David Goldwyn. He's damn good. I've had him in my courtroom several times. I've never seen anyone so prepared.
Well, I'll also be prepared. We've waited a long time for this. 5 years.
5 years. You two were inseparable, all the way through school. Sit down. Now tell me, do you think this is the man who killed Susan?
Yes, I do.
And what exactly have you got on him?
I don't even have motive. It's going to be hard to overcome.
Well, sometimes less can be more. Depends on how you use it. I've sat on hundreds of cases where the evidence wasn't clear-cut, and they were all won by the attorney who created emotional involvement with the jurors. I know that in that courtroom, my daughter's death will be constantly on your mind. You must make sure that you channel that anger, that you don't let your emotions get away from you, otherwise you'll lose this case, pure and simple. Keep your wits about you, apply the law, and I can assure you that justice will be done.
Yeah?
I think I may have something that might interest you.
Really, what?
I found out why Lennox knows so much about the law.
Why?
He was a law student himself. Well, for a while anyway.
A while? Did he graduate?
Not exactly. He was expelled for cheating.
Interesting. Maybe just what we need. Dr. Hassan, your autopsy report shows traces of chloroform and another substance found in Wendy Jorgensen's nasal membrane, correct?
Yes, which was consistent with chlorobenzodrine, the substance found in the bouquet of roses in her apartment.
Did this substance kill Miss Jorgensen?
No, it just made her nauseous. The chloroform was probably administered after. It's clear that she drowned in her own bath. The water we found in her lungs contained a high concentration of bubble bath, exactly like the water found in the tub.
Could this drowning have been accidental, caused by, say, merely falling asleep?
Impossible. Someone would have to be conscious to take in that much water.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness earlier stated that the victim had to be unconscious. Now he's saying that she had to be awake. You can't be both. Which one is it?
I think you can deal with that in your cross-examination, Mr. Goldwyn. Overruled.
Doctor, was there any evidence to suggest that Wendy was drugged, then revived?
Yes. Her nasal passages also contain traces of carbonate ammonia. more commonly known as smelling salts.
Were there any other signs that would point to how Miss Jorgensen died?
Her autopsy revealed several bruises around her ankles.
Bruising around her ankles. Now, how could that have happened?
Pressure. Say by someone holding her ankles tightly, possibly high in the air, submerging her head, which could have caused the drowning.
Dr. Hassan, do you believe Wendy Jorgensen was murdered?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
No further questions? And exactly where in Mr. Lennox's home did you find this flyer?
It was folded inside a volume of Shakespeare, like a bookmark. It was marking a page from Henry VIII.
Objection. It's Henry VI, Sergeant Crisco.
What are you doing?
The eighth? Henry VIII? You gonna let that go? Henry VIII? I mean, Henry VIII?
Mr. Goldwyn, are we having a problem? I suggest you control your client, or I will.
Yes, Your Honor.
Shut up. Fine, fine.
Could you please read for us the highlighted line of this book?
The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers.
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection sustained. Ms. Dwyer, where are you going with this?
I withdraw the question, Your Honor. And what is this flyer advertising, Detective?
It seeks models for photography sessions.
And do you recognize the phone number?
Yes. It belongs to the defendant.
Where did you find this particular flyer?
We found it behind a chest of drawers in Miss Jorgensen's apartment.
No further questions? Your witness.
So, Detective, I think it's safe to assume that since you and your men made such a thorough search of Mr. Lennox's apartment, that you were equally thorough when searching the victim's apartment. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Good. Then during this very careful search of the victim's apartment, did you or your men discover any evidence of the defendant's fingerprints?
Yes. The defendant's fingerprints were all over the flyer.
I should think that would have been obvious, Detective. My client never denied ever handing out those flyers. Okay, let me rephrase this so it's a little bit clearer for you. Did you or your men ever discover any evidence of the defendant's fingerprints anywhere else in the apartment?
No.
No. Any hair fibers?
No.
Anything else? Blood, semen, saliva,
No.
anything? What about that phone number on the flyer? Did you find any phone records that linked the defendant to Wendy Jorgensen?
No, but she could have called from the campus.
No. Just answer the question. Don't start playing detective. Detective. So what about a witness? They're always good. Any of those?
No.
No. Okay, let's move on. How about the bubble bath? Did you find any of said bubble bath on Mr. Lennox's person when he was arrested?
No.
Any smelling salts?
No.
Any chloroform?
No.
Okay, let me try and get this straight, Detective. Why are we here? From what you're telling me and this very patient jury, after your carefully meticulous search of the victim's apartment, you and your men couldn't turn up one shred, not one scintilla of concrete physical evidence that undeniably links the defendant, Malcolm Lennox, to the murder of Wendy Jorgensen. That about sum it up? Is that your testimony, Detective?
Your client is guilty and you know it.
Your Honor, could you please instruct the witness just to answer the question? On second thought, I retract that. I think he already has. No further questions.
This court stands in recess until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Jury is excused with the admonition to refrain from reading or watching any media accounts of these proceedings.
David, I'm very impressed. Very impressed. I couldn't have done better myself.
Lennox, I'm going to have to ask you a couple of favors. First, don't call me David. And second, when the jury's not in the courtroom, don't touch me. Is that clear? I'm your attorney, I'm not your pal.
You're a man of integrity. How can you defend someone like that?
What, I never told you about Gary Wayne Mosley?
No. Who's that?
It's nobody. It's one of a million nobodies that traipse through this court system every year.
So? What's he to you?
When I first graduated from law school, I went with one of these big, prestigious firms. You know, one they have 20 names on their letterhead. They had a policy of one pro bono case each year, a freebie, so we didn't feel so guilty about gouging the rest of the clients the rest of the year. Mine was Gary Wayne Mosley, sexual assault.
So, what happened?
I spent one halftime of a football game preparing his case because I knew he was guilty. I didn't want to waste my time. Naturally, I lost the case. He went to jail. 2 months later, someone else confessed to the crime.
Well, we all make mistakes.
Gary Wayne Mosley was stabbed to death in the prison cafeteria before they could even tell him he was a free man. So, here I am. In the public defender's office, defending the nobodies.
David, this is different. You know he's guilty.
No, Rachel, I don't. And frankly, neither do you. If we knew, we wouldn't need trials. We just have lynchings.
What do you want?
I think we should talk. Aren't you gonna invite me in?
Come on in.
Okay, two things. The first thing is, I added your name to the application, so you get full credit where credit is due. And secondly, I'm gonna leave Laura.
What are you talking about?
Us, Melanie. I'm talking about us. I mean, all I have to do is shift a few financial accounts around so that she doesn't take everything I own when I leave.
This isn't about us, Peter.
What about this? Is this about us?
Stop! Stop! Peter, I'm warning you! Get away from me! It's over.
This is not over.
Hello?
Hi. I saved one of my 3 phone calls for you. Aren't you honored? Roses are red. Violets are blue. I got to Susan. I'll get to you.
Listen, you can do whatever you want, but for the record, I have to advise against it.
Well, thank you for caring, David. But I'm really very good, you'll see. Now put me on the stand before I get ugly.
The defense would like to call Malcolm Lennox to the stand. Mr. Lennox, can you account for your whereabouts on May 1st, the night Wendy Jorgensen died?
Certainly. I was at my home in my darkroom developing some film. I run a small photographic studio, and I often have to work long hours in order to make ends meet.
And the night you were arrested, what were you doing then?
Oh, I was delivering some money to a young lady who had done some work for me, as well as a bouquet of flowers as kind of a special thanks for a job well done. I didn't know that delivering flowers could be a crime.
Thank you. Mr. Lennox, did you kill Wendy Jorgensen?
Certainly not. I had never heard of Wendy Jorgensen until the police questioned me.
Thank you.
I offered to take a polygraph test to clear my name.
Objection. Defense counsel and his client know full well a polygraph is not admissible in this court. Move to strike.
Sustained. Jury will disregard the defendant's response.
No further questions. Your witness.
Mr. Lennox, what's your educational background?
High school, college, that's about as far as it goes.
Did you attend law school?
Yes, I did.
Did you graduate law school?
No, I decided to seek honest work.
Isn't it a fact, Mr. Lennox, the reason why you didn't graduate is because you were expelled for cheating on an exam?
No, I was unjustly accused, as I am today.
Why don't you tell the court who exactly did the accusing?
I can't recall.
Wasn't it a young woman in your law class, someone sick of seeing you cheat your way to the top?
No, that's not it at all.
Isn't it also a fact that she rejected your sexual advances? That's why you hate women. That's why, especially women lawyers, that's why you want to kill them?
Objection!
Sustained. Miss Dwyer, that will be quite enough.
There's been 3 murders in the Boston area, all with the same MO. It's you, Mr. Lennox, isn't it?
Objection, Your Honor! I mean, on the basis of these unfounded allegations, I have to move for a mistrial.
I'm going to deny the motion. Miss Dwyer, this is definitely your last warning.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Isn't it hard to sleep at night, Mr. Lennox? Aren't the demons a problem?
Objection!
Withdrawn. No further questions.
Why don't we talk about your demons, Mr. Dwyer? Why don't you tell the court about your motives for revenge?
I'm not on trial here.
Don't you think the court would like to hear about your roommate who was murdered while in law school? Don't you think the jury would like to know that it was you who discovered the body?
Objection!
Isn't that
Order.
why I'm on trial here, honestly? I mean,
Order.
because you have some emotional score you have to settle and you'll do it any way you can. This is not a prosecution. This seems to be a persecution, if I may say so. The DA wants to look good in the papers, and he wants his deputy to somehow relieve herself of guilt.
Now!
Objection, Your Honor.
Court stands in recess.
Well, I guess our first order of business should be to select the foreman.
Select or elect?
Look, the market's gone bonkers since I got stuck in here. Let's just get on with it, okay?
Yes, let's get on with it. Why don't you be our foreman, Dr. Carmichael? Let's have a show of hands.
Well, I'd be happy to. Okay, I guess we should probably start with a quick vote. The secret one at first. Just to see how many of us favor acquittal.
Acquittal? Said anything about acquittal? He's guilty as hell as far as I'm concerned.
Now, don't get excited. That's what we're here for, to debate.
Not guilty. Guilty.
And not guilty. It appears we have a lot of work to do. It's an even split. 6-6.
Seems like an eternity, right?
If they were going to convict, they'd be back by now.
You know better than that. It's early yet.
I should have brought up the psychiatric records.
You did the best you could.
Maybe my best wasn't good enough.
Put your faith in the system, Rachel. 12 good and true men and women will decide this case. Put your trust in them.
Okay. What about the flyers? The ones they found in his apartment and in the dead girl's apartment.
I agree, that looks suspicious. But if I were looking for young models, a college campus is where I'd advertise.
Well, it just seems a little odd to me.
Maybe, but that doesn't prove anything. Certainly not that he murdered her.
Yeah, but why were those flyers only placed at law schools? Answer me that.
Maybe it was just a coincidence.
And the second girl he took the flowers to, she was a law student. I suppose that was only a coincidence,
Look,
too.
none of this is conclusive proof that he murdered the Jorgensen girl. And without that, I still see reasonable doubt.
What about reasonable guilt?
I say we vote again. Okay. A vote's been called for. All in favor of acquittal? Raise your hand.
There's nothing yet.
Checkmate.
Come on, people. Open your eyes. If we let him go, he's going to kill again.
For God's sakes, we've been in here for over 7 hours.
What's your rush?
Right now, you're the only one who thinks he's guilty.
Look, the truth is there is reasonable doubt. I mean, surely you see that.
What about gut instinct? I'm telling you, I know this guy's guilty as charged.
So you're going to send a man to prison for the rest of his life because you have a gut instinct. Well, I hope you're sure about these feelings you get. And, you know, maybe when this is all over, we can all go down to the racetrack and you can pick out a few winning horses for us.
You'd rather make jokes than stick to the facts.
I'm talking about facts. Fact! There are no witnesses, no one to place him at the scene of the crime. Fact! No evidence, no physical evidence of any kind, no blood stains. Fact! There is no motive, just something the DA cooked up. Fact! He offered to take a lie detector test. Now, do you think for 1 second the man would do that if he was really guilty?
Be reasonable. We can't all be wrong.
Okay. We are going to take one final vote. All in favor of acquittal, raise your hands.
The jury foreman will now read the verdict.
On the charge of murder in the first degree, we, the jury, find the defendant, Malcolm Lennox, not guilty.
The defendant has been found not guilty. This trial is over. Court is adjourned.
Nice try. Better luck next time.
Rachel. Rachel, wait. I have to talk to you.
The man who killed my friend just slipped away because I wasn't good enough to nail him. I don't feel like
don't
talking.
do this to yourself. Okay, that wasn't your fault. You were brilliant. You have to believe me, I had no idea he was going to do that to you in there. I don't know how he found out about your friend.
It's obvious, David. He killed her.
Honey, hi. Can I see you?
Peter, I really don't think that is such a good idea.
No, just for a minute. No, I promise. It's important.
Okay. But not for very long, and it's not gonna change anything.
Okay. Okay, bye.
That wasn't very hospitable, Rachel. See, I knew you wanted to invite me over, so I thought I'd get the jump on you, so to speak.
What do you want, Lennox?
A little conversation. Maybe a post-mortem on the case.
Why, you're free man. You won.
Well, of course. That's a given. I'd just like to share a little story with you.
I'm not interested in a story.
Oh, I think you'll like this one. Once upon a time, these two girls lived together in school, and they were very good friends. One's name was Susan. One night, the roommate went out, and when she came back, Susan was gone. Gone as in dead. But here's the really good part. The killer really wanted the other girl. See, he made the decision to let her live. I know right now you're wondering, why am I still alive? Do you know, Rachel? Do you?
Because you need me. You love our game too much.
You're quite right. I do.
You look lovely. Can I come in? Easier to say that I'm sorry for what happened the other night.
It's not going to change anything. But thank you.
Well, aren't you going to smell them?
Hello?
Yeah, listen, I found your number in, the Yellow Pages. You do wedding pictures, right?
Yes.
Well, great. You see, my daughter's, getting married, and the photographer I hired hasn't shown.
You want me to come now?
Well, yeah.
I can't. I'm busy, really.
I'll make it $1,000, all right? All in. But you gotta come now.
All right, what's your address?
It's 5050 Reynolds, apartment number 16.
All right, I'll be there in an hour. Bye.
Yes, I heard a woman scream, and now there's a prowler inside. I'm at 5050 Reynolds. Yes, he's a white male, wearing dark clothes, about 6'2". Yes, a brown and beige sedan.
Get out of the car, now!
What?
You have to answer a few questions. We have reports of a prowler.
You probably have the wrong guy. Just whatever you need is fine with me.
All right, turn around. Hey! Hey! I got him! I got him! Get out! Get down! Hold him! Let me go, you idiot! Come from. Okay. Let me go! Get him in the car! Somebody get the door. Got it. Go! Watch his head. Watch his head.
Mother of mercy. Less than 72 hours. You're not gonna believe this.
good to be true. Everything's here. Hair fibers, chloroform, phone records.
And you can take these. The lab developed the film in Lennox's camera.
This is great.
Yeah, this is too easy.
Please, finally, one for our side. Don't knock it.
Yeah, but this Sims girl, she was some sort of teacher's assistant. She wasn't a law student. And leaving behind a trail of evidence that a blind man could see is definitely not Lennox.
Look, Lennox was so eager to prove to me he was back in control, he got sloppy. Oh. Are we having a bad day? Is it the food, the service? Oh, no cable, right?
I don't belong here.
Don't be bitter, Lennox. It's unbecoming.
I didn't kill that girl. We both know that.
I guess that full confession I was looking for is out of the question, right?
Absolutely. I don't blame you for coming to gloat, especially after your stellar performance in court. But I am surprised that you would try to frame me for murder. I thought it was beneath you.
You can rationalize it all you'd like, Lennox, but the fact is you're in there and I'm out here.
You know what disappoints me? Do you, Rachel? Let me tell you that you would think so little of me that I would leave a trail of evidence behind me a mile long. I take far too much pride in my work to do such a sloppy, amateurish job. You should know that. It's a frame, Miss Dwyer. But you're too angry to see it.
I'll see you in court, Lennox.
Thank you very much. Dr. Carmichael.
Morning.
I thought it would be a good idea if all of us in the department chipped in and sent flowers to Melanie Sims' service.
Certainly. It's tragic what happened. I'm just glad they caught the man who did it.
Will you be going to the funeral service?
I don't think so.
I thought that in this particular case you should.
Excuse me?
Nothing. Forget it.
I put that serial killer back on the street again. He didn't even take time for a cup of coffee before he was at it again.
David, you don't have to feel guilty.
Look, don't tell me what to feel, Rachel. A girl is dead because I was so mired in naive principles and some twisted code of ethics I couldn't see the truth. Her blood is on my hands, Rachel.
Your hands? What about my hands? I was supposed to keep Lennox behind bars. It was your job to defend him. That's what you did. What about all the rhetoric about not having trials, just lynchings? What was that about?
You want to hear the punchline? They've assigned me to the Lennox case again.
You gonna take it?
I got no choice. The public defender's office decided to save a little bit of time and money by putting me on the case since I know the history so well. Which I guess in some twisted way makes sense.
I don't care what evidence she has. I didn't do it.
You're not listening to the facts, Lennox. I didn't do it. It's not going to cut it this time.
I want you to get off your Ivy League ass and clean this thing up. I am getting impatient with you, David. Very impatient.
Look, this is an airtight case. The best I can do is plea bargain for manslaughter 1.
You're not listening to me. I want out! Do you hear me? Out! I have a habit of punishing those who disappoint me, David.
All I can promise you is a fair trial. If that was some kind of threat, I'd think about it again, Malcolm.
got an evidence problem with this Lennox trial.
What do you mean, problem?
You know those hair samples that we took off Lennox's sweatshirt? Well, they matched the dead girl's all right, but there's something funny about them. She's just given herself one of those home treatments, but the hairs on the sweatshirt didn't have a single trace of the stuff. Now, how you figure?
Well, maybe it got there on an earlier meeting.
There's just too many pieces of this puzzle that just don't fit. I know it's picky, but this guy used a different brand of bubble bath. And in all the previous murders, he left everything nice and neat. All the victims' garments were neatly folded. Here, the garments are torn. Now, with all these murders with the exact same M.O., why the sudden changes?
I don't know, maybe he was in a hurry.
Okay. Explain this one. The snapshots of Melanie Sims were all underexposed. All the other pictures were in focus and well exposed. Now, you know Lennox, how his mind works. He's a perfectionist. He'd never make that kind of mistake. Bet you if I kept digging, I'd find even more problems.
Please don't. I go to trial in 2 days. Let's not blow holes on our own case.
Just thought you'd want to know, that's all.
In the case of the state versus Malcolm Lennox, has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. On the charge of first-degree murder, we find the defendant, Malcolm Lennox, guilty.
The defendant will be remanded to the county jail, sentencing set for 2 weeks from today. This court is adjourned.
I have been framed! Do something, you idiot!
Sorry, I did everything I could.
Ah! Oh.
Honey, have you seen my hair clip?
No.
Honey, what happened? Are you okay?
Miss Dwyer,
Yes?
I need to talk to you about Melanie Sims.
Please come in.
No, I think it's coming in about 2 1/4. I would hold on to that for a second. David, I'm gonna have to call you back, okay? Thanks.
Rachel Dwyer as a prosecutor in the Lennox case.
What can I do for you?
What can you tell me about how the jury reached their decision?
There's not much to say, really. I mean, at first I think most of us thought he was guilty, and then some of the jurors convinced us that there was a reasonable doubt, so we changed our verdict.
What jurors?
Let me think. The foreman. He was one of them. That's about all I remember.
Thank you.
Every time I think about what went on in that jury room, I get sick to my stomach.
And Peter Carmichael was behind it.
Full bore. He manipulated the jury to be elected. I've been over it and over it. He'd obviously planned this thing out pretty carefully. The only thing I can't understand is why.
But you still voted not guilty.
I know, and I shouldn't have. I knew that wacko was guilty, and I still caved into the pressure.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Grimsley. You were right. Remember Peter Carmichael, the jury foreman in Lennox's first trial? I think he and Lennox had a deal.
What makes you think so?
Melanie Sims was his research assistant, but it seems they were doing another kind of research.
How did I miss that?
It gets better. Carmichael was pushing for an acquittal from the start. He delivers a not guilty verdict. Lennox delivers Sims dead.
Or
what?
Well, Carmichael did it himself.
Are you saying he copycatted the crime?
He screws up on a few details and makes mistakes.
If we nail Carmichael, Lennox is a free man.
You got it. So what's next?
We have to get more on Carmichael.
And how do we do that?
Ask him.
Can I help you, Detective?
Just a little routine follow-up on the Melanie Sims murder.
Follow-up, I was under the impression that, that Lennox was behind bars.
Yeah. He's been caught, all right. How well did you know Miss Sims?
Oh, not that well, really. I mean, of course, we worked on a few projects together, but that was about the extent of it. There are so many graduate students here, it's hard to get to know them all. Would you excuse me, Detective? Dr. Carmichael?
Hi, Peter. Do you know who this is?
No.
Oh, that's too bad, sweetheart, because I know all about you. You've been a naughty boy.
Excuse me?
I know that you killed Melanie Sims. I have proof. And now Malcolm Lennox is rotting away for something you did. Shame on you, Peter.
I think you're mistaken.
Is there something wrong?
What? No. Yeah. It was the wrong number. I have a class to teach, Detective. I'm sorry I couldn't help you.
Counselor, we need to talk. There's a couple of items about this Lennox case which have me more than a little bit concerned.
Really?
Yes. A very persistent Mr. Lennox convinced me to take a second look at the autopsy report of Melanie Sims. You can imagine my surprise when I read in the fine print that her hair contained chemical residue as if it had been recently treated. You know anything about that?
No?
Rachel, you are so close to the line right now. I know you want this guy bad, and I understand that. Don't sell your soul for this piece of garbage.
Am I interrupting something?
No. We're done. Rachel, be careful. You have a lot at stake here.
What was all that about?
We're gonna have to move quickly. He's suspicious.
So who are you gonna go after? Carmichael or Lennox?
Both.
Someone's here for you.
Need to speak to a woman, please?
Okay, just let me know when you're done.
This wouldn't be a conjugal visit, would it, Miss Dwyer?
Let's get right to the point. You didn't kill Melanie Sims.
Brilliant. Now you're catching on.
You were framed.
Without question. But by whom is another matter.
I know who. But I need your help. I want you, Malcolm. But for the murders that you did commit. This is all a big game to you, you know? We're like pawns on your chessboard. You're the player always in control. Until now. Here's your chance at a rematch.
Ooh. Now you got my attention. How can I help you?
Let's suppose I want to frame someone for murder. How would I do that?
You've got to give jurors the evidence they crave. They don't care about abstractions like motive and circumstantial evidence. They want something tangible they can lock their minds onto so that they can go home and not lose sleep over the possibility that they may have made a wrong decision.
Such as?
Documents, photos, fingerprints. An eyewitness who may have seen the murder at the scene of the crime. Evidence that a brilliant mind would never leave behind.
And how can I manufacture this kind of evidence? To make it look like someone killed, say, Wendy Jorgensen?
Ah, yes. Wendy Jorgensen.
We both know you can't be tried for the same murder twice.
You and I are alike. A clever man would know about the surveillance camera hidden in Wendy Jorgensen's apartment building, and that the security guard takes a short break every night at exactly 9 o'clock. Someone not so bright wouldn't know that Big Brother was watching and taping.
What else?
A keepsake. A souvenir to remember the dear girl by.
Where is it?
A special place.
She'll take me there?
I might.
You knew about the surveillance camera? Why didn't you say anything about it?
You didn't want to know.
Yes, I do.
The tape that I got from the security office had a big black gap in it. I just knew that some wise guy defense lawyer was going to say that I erased the tape because something on it would have proved his client innocent. And to avoid all that, I just kept it to myself.
Leonard, how could you do that?
And I suppose you've never done it.
As a matter of fact, no, I haven't.
Don't give me that. There isn't a DA alive that hasn't twisted the facts to put a lousy perp away. I need to borrow one of your house guests for a couple of hours.
Gotta clear it with the warden first.
Orders from DA's office.
Okay. Let him in.
All right, Lennox. One false move and it'll be your last.
Down there. Come on.
Where did I put that? Yeah, I'm getting warm. I'm getting really warm. I think I'm red hot.
Roscoe.
Thank you. Feels very nice. So, now we're on even ground.
Showtime. Nice stuff. Memories. Here's Wendy's quaff key. That's my end of the bargain. Now you keep yours, right? So many memories. How about these pictures? Huh?
You son of
Sorry. Mine. You know, it's really too bad, but I can't stay. I got an appointment with the lawyer. Gotta go.
Krasko. Come on. Come on. He's going after Goldman.
Damn, he took the car too. I knew it. Jesus. Hold it. Hold it! Police, get out of the car now! Move it, move it! Come on, hurry up! Hurry up! Move it, hurry up!
We need an ambulance. 700 Coliseum Drive. Someone's been shot.
Officer?
Now what the hell's going on here?
No need for the gun, officer. I can explain. Really, I can.
I'm gonna need some backup here. This guy's a bit too weird for me.
I was on my way back from a hearing at the courthouse when the officer who had me in custody was unavoidably called away. And so...
Just stay right there, don't move.
Absolutely. At any rate, since I'm an innocent man, I didn't want to compound my legal difficulties, so here I am at your service. Lace the fingers and put in the back of the head?
Just turn around and just walk ahead of me.
All right, fine.
Coming in, we need some reinforcements
This way?
here. Just keep going in.
All right.
He's where? Pierre, you hold on to him. I'll be right there. Is he gonna make it?
Yeah, they think so.
Lennox just turned himself in.
What?
Hi. Your car is out front in the parking lot, Detective. I checked the oil. You need some. I cleaned the windshield and dusted the mats. Sorry I didn't have enough money to fill the tank.
Shot David Goldwyn in cold blood.
Before you go public with that, maybe you should talk about your throwdown.
What's a throwdown?
Go ahead, Leonard. Tell her. You know the second gun I took off of him? The chrome-plated .22? It's an unregistered gun that some officers carry in case things go bad. They just throw it down and suddenly the suspect is armed and dangerous. Kind of an insurance policy, huh, Leonard? Did you really think that I would help you just to get a second trial? I'm gonna get one anyhow, and I'm gonna be my own defense, which I will win, now that David Goldwyn is no longer practicing law. I would love to have you both in, but the place is a mess. I'm kind of working on a book right now. I have some things I have to do.
Honey?
Yeah?
It's for you.
Thanks. Hello?
Peter, dear, is that you?
Who is this and what the hell do you want?
Well, it seems I have some evidence that you might be interested in. Evidence that could put a certain chemistry professor in prison for murder. You wouldn't want that, would you, dear?
Fortunately, I'm a reasonable woman.
Willing to make a deal?
What kind of a deal?
$25,000.
I walk away.
$5,000. I don't have that kind of money.
Well, I think you can get it.
Hurry down to the bank, dear. I want it in cash. Bring the money at exactly 9 o'clock tonight at 3015 Centennial Drive, apartment 412. Oh, by the way, put the money in a flower box. I told the security guard I'm expecting some flowers. He won't ask any questions. Don't be late.
Yes, it's me.
I left the key above the door. Well, what are you waiting for, lover? Come on up.
Carmichael, we're here to see your husband.
This way, please, gentlemen. Peter?
Dr. Carmichael, you must remember me, Detective Krasko, homicide.
I thought I'd already answered all your questions, Detective.
Oh, I think we have a few more. You're under arrest for first-degree murder.
I did not commit this crime.
I'd like to believe you, Peter, but you know, there's just all this evidence.
Enough of the intimidation, Dwyer. What evidence do you have to connect my client to the murder of Wendy Jorgensen?
Well, for starters, detectives found this in between the seats of Dr. Carmichael's car.
An order of the coif key?
Clearly belonging to the deceased. The autopsy report shows that the abrasions around Wendy Jorgensen's neck were caused by the chain of this necklace. Would you like to tell me why this necklace was in your car, Dr. Carmichael?
I have no idea.
You don't have to say a thing.
Okay, well, maybe you'd like to take a stab at this. This is a video taken from the Revere Tower surveillance camera on the night of May 1st, the night Wendy Jorgensen was murdered. It's about 9 o'clock.
How do you know that? There's no time code on this tape.
The lobby clock reads 9 o'clock. And we got the date from the headline on the newspaper underneath the woman's arm. It's from the edition of May 1st. You can call the newspaper if you'd like.
No, go on.
Okay, now listen.
Peter, is that you?
Yes, it's me.
Well, what are you waiting for, lover? Come on up.
Would you like me to fast forward to where Dr. Carmichael leaves the building wearing gloves on a very hot night in May?
I think we've seen enough.
No, this is all wrong. I did not kill that woman. I did not kill that woman. That tape was taken last night.
Really? Yesterday? So what would you be doing in Wendy Jorgensen's apartment yesterday? The apartment's been empty for months.
I don't know. But I was not there on May 1st. I was at home with my wife.
Sorry, I already checked with her. She said you weren't home, Dr. Carmichael.
Laura.
So if you weren't home with your wife on the night of May 1st, and you weren't with Wendy Jorgensen, then where were you, Dr. Carmichael? Is there anyone out there who can provide you with an alibi?
I think we're ready to talk a deal.
Well, I'm all packed and ready to go.
You're not going anywhere, Lennox.
Need I remind you of my superior position? One phone call, and I'll expose your clever little plan to frame poor Dr. Carmichael.
The fact is, the only way you're going to prove that Peter Carmichael didn't kill Wendy Jorgensen is to admit to the murder yourself. Which I'm sure you're not quite prepared to do, right? Unfortunately, when the police talk with David Goldwyn, your stay here is going to be indefinite.
David is dead. He's alive. I am getting sloppy. So our deal is off. Congratulations, Rachel. I suppose I should have never expected anything less of you.
You could have been a brilliant lawyer, Lennox, but you chose murder. Why?
Respect. It is fundamentally lacking in our world today.
Those women meant you no harm.
They meant me the worst harm of all. They didn't realize who I was.
Oh, I think they did. There was a day when it all made sense to me. It was cut and dry. But now...
Justice and the law can be different things.
So what do you do?
Justice can be fairness, righteousness, reward or penalty as deserved. It's different for everyone. You must decide for yourself, Richard.